welcome back to another video here on my channel. In the last video on my channel I posted a cinematic overview of my entry in the build competition for Marble Mountain hosted by $2.20, and in this video you could almost call it a part 2 of the previous video, but we're gonna take a closer look at what we've made and sort of take a look behind the scenes, and as I show you the time lapse, and also talk a little bit about where I got my inspiration from, and just talk a little bit more about the build, because I don't know about you, but I love to create sort of these backstories to whatever I'm building, and I just do it instinctively now, I think. So it just happens on its own accord, but I also did it in this one, so I'd like to share that one with you in this video right here. The build competition is finished. They are not taking any more entries, and the winner has also been announced, sort of halfway. Definitely has been announced on $2 Discord, but not officially over on YouTube. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, really. Not gonna say anything. I know who won, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. But I had a blast doing this. It was really fun. I didn't really build in Marble Mountain because I just used a blank map. I thought that would be the best, considering you know, if I would run into any FPS issues or anything, it would just be this. It was the simpler choice, but it sort of felt like it that I was building in Marble Mountain still, considering the assets that I had, and also the map theme, and you know, everything looked like it was from one of the I don't know how many Marble Mountains episodes there have been, but I think it's been going on for a few years now, and it's always fun to be involved in these competitions. And not too long ago I was involved in a competition by Pug Gaming, which was really fun. Was the Isle of Wight. Got some great memories there, not from the island itself, but from the competition. And it was also good to just do something else. I've been working a lot on Nordvik, both on screen and off screen, and yeah, it's always good to just do something else for a while, because I was sort of getting kind of tired of Nordvik. It's definitely in the beginning of series. There might be somewhat of a down period when you sort of still figuring out what goes where, but I took a break. I started working on this build competition, and I finished up a few weeks ago, and now I'm back in Nordvik, and I'm already got so much footage ready to go. So I'm also working on the next episode of Nordvik that should be up soonish, I hope. But it's good to take breaks every now and then. It's also fun to be involved in a competition held by $2.20, probably one of the biggest content creators within the City Skylines community. I've been following him since episode 2 of Springwood. That is a long time ago. I might be one of the OGs. I'm not that active in his community, but I've been following him. I think I watched every single episode since Springwood. It was love at first sight, almost. Now there's no romantic feelings. I just want to clarify that. But with rambling out of the way, let's start talking about what we have been doing, what I've been doing, what I've been building, really. The first thing I did was, like I always do, I tried to figure out, you know, what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it. It sounds a bit weird, but definitely the first thing you need to check is where do you want your inspiration to come from, because most of the time you can't really find inspiration from within when there's talk about, you know, building cities, realistic cities. So I went over to Google Maps, which I have been many times before, and Las Cruces, which is the name of the city in Marble Mountain, is based off Reno and Las Vegas. So I just went over there and I checked out Las Vegas, see what they had, see what I can get inspiration from. I of course knew a little bit about the city itself prior to, you know, starting this project, but I haven't really been looking at it too much over at Google Maps. Of course, everyone knows that Las Vegas is known for its casinos and just these giant hotels, and it's somewhat over the top way of building up a skyline, really. And of course that was the first thing that I thought of. I thought, could I build something like that myself, like a nice resort of some sort, or a huge casino, or yeah, any type of nice looking hotel, as you can see here. But then I also thought, you know, isn't that what everyone will be doing? Isn't that what every other contender really in this competition is going to do? So I thought about, you know, how about trying to do something a little bit different. So I went back into Google Maps. I completely scrapped the idea of building something fancy and nice, like a huge resort of some sort. And I went ahead and tried to figure out where the intersection, or the interchange really, that you can see from one of his episodes, where the real life counterpart is, or at least where it's taking inspiration from. And I tried to figure out what is nearby and can I draw inspiration from anything nearby. And I found this truck parking lot, and I also found this I won't call it a shabby motel, but definitely a more down to earth motel or hotel or whatever it is. Also a lot more truck parking, and of course drive-throughs, tons of drive-throughs. There's like this thing that is everywhere, I feel like, in the US, that you have sort of this main street with tons of lanes, and you know, just restaurants, fast food restaurants on the side, and of course on every corner you gotta have a gas station. I feel like that's a given. And I also went ahead and looked at the motel on the other side of the truck parking lot, and I just thought, yeah, I have to make this. This is what I have to do. It seems so easy, and I thought like it could be done, because I can't go ahead and download any new assets or anything, because, you know, I only had a few to choose from. But I thought to myself, yeah, this could work. This could definitely work. I could do something like this myself, actually. So I looked at this one more time, and I just closed the web browser and opened up City Skylines, and yeah, I went to work, really. So I decided to split my work into 3 parts, and also split this video into 3 parts. First thing I wanted to do is work on the main street, try to incorporate some of the ideas that I just saw on Google Maps. Then I want to work on the motel, but I want to make it a lot more shabbier, because yeah, that's just a lot of fun. And then the last part and the third part is the truck parking lot. That will take up the majority of the space in this somewhat small lot that we got to play around with. But since I only had a few assets to choose from, considering the assets that's already being used in Marble Mountain, I decided to just go ahead and place down everything that I really needed in this project right here. So that is all the buildings that I needed. I also placed down two trucks there, or two trailers. Same with all the vegetation that I would need. Didn't use all of them, I think, but the majority of them. Just trying to place down so I can see what I have, and in case I'm forgetting something towards the end, maybe something I think about in the start, yeah, that would be cool, but then I would forget after a while. So just trying to remind myself what I have. And the same goes with these buildings here. These are, I think all of them are from the content creator pack by King Leno. I think they're called University City. But yeah, placed down everything, and then it was off to work. I removed the fences first, and I just talked about it a little bit earlier. Yeah, it's the gas station on the end. It's the gas station there in the corner. I'm not too unfamiliar with playing or using vanilla assets. I don't know if any one of you have seen any of my Boulder Cove videos. I know a lot of you have. They are definitely, the entire series of Boulder Cove is inspired by Marble Mountain. Not in the sense of it looks like it, but maybe the approach is probably very much similar. And I have been thinking a lot about Boulder Cove lately. Yeah, I miss it. It's not gone for good. It's just on a season break. So season 2 will arrive. But yeah, I've been missing it. Maybe I'll look into it sooner rather than later. But yeah, I placed down the gas station here. Used ploppable asphalt to function as, well, the asphalt. So it looks like there is a parking lot here, really, that cars can access, but in reality they don't really. And I used the special technique that I'm gonna use actually for the entire area, this entire build really, and that is to use 2 smaller ploppable asphalts and place down some pedestrian crossings on top of them to sort of function like entrances and exits to these small custom parking lots, which was quite simple, and it's quite easy to do multiple of them, because you just have to use Move It to copy them, and place them down actually in every lot. So every building that I'm going to place down alongside the main street here, I'm using the same technique on all of them. I also want to add some vegetation wherever I could, and I first decided I should try to create a barrier between the parking lot, or the lot for the gas station, and the road itself, and the barrier just being some vegetation. I did, however, go back and change that up a little bit. I decided to just copy everything with Move It and move everything a little bit further in or further away from the road, and then I used ploppable pavement to function as a sidewalk. It's a lot easier to control the ploppable pavement than the pavement that is there in the game, you know, the single surface, because the ploppable pavement, it's just a single square and you can place it down whatever you want, but with the surface it's a little bit more trickier. So I decided to use Surface Painter to just remove all surfaces, and wherever I wanted sidewalk I just used the ploppable pavement. And as you can see, this is a tactic I used several times here, also in the drive-through on this restaurant right here. I can't remember what the restaurant is called. I think it's yeah, something to do with shakes, I think. But yeah, all of these buildings here are King Leno, from the content creator pack. And here you can also see more in detail the entrances and exits with pedestrian crossing, and how it sort of looks like it's an entrance because of how the ploppable asphalt have roughly the same color as the asphalt in the vanilla road. And just using Move It really to copy and paste whatever. Now I'm gonna speed up the time lapse a little bit, and I'm also gonna cut a lot away because really what I do right now and what I'm continuing to doing is sort of like the same in every lot that I place down here. Using the asphalt, ploppable asphalt, to create a parking lot. Use the parking lot decals, which are vanilla, and I also downloaded some prop versions of vanilla cars, or I don't think they're vanilla cars actually. I just think they're a prop version of a certain type of cars, and I placed them down in the parking lots, so it looks like there's actually people here, because they are just decals, these parking lots, they're not being used. But I think there's still gonna be a lot of movement here once, or if it's placed down in a larger city, because right now it's not connected to anything, it's just on an empty map, so it might look a little bit dead, there's no people walking around, but thanks to the prop versions of the cars, it looks like this a real place. I'm also using another decal, which is also vanilla, to sort of roughen up the area, sort of create or make the asphalt looks a little bit more, I don't know, worn down maybe, not that new, because it doesn't take a lot of years for asphalt to sort of break up and start creating these potholes and everything. So just the tiny details like that, creating just a more rougher look, it helps a lot. And I don't think a lot of people realize that the vanilla game has this sort of decals, but they might be difficult to find if you don't have the right mods for it. I'm not too sure, but I just used to find it here, and I filtered for decals, and just went with ones I had. But yeah, I can confirm that they are all vanilla, these sort of decals. Instead of cutting away too much of the time lapse, I'm actually gonna leave a lot of time lapse up now, and not really comment anything while it's going, because I don't really have that much more to add really, and I don't want to rant either, so I'm gonna play some music instead. And if you're watching this on your phone or on your computer, then I think it's called like chapters in YouTube here. Like I divided these things into chapters or whatever they're called, sections, anything. But you can just simply click on the next one. It should be quite easy to do whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like you want to move on. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna leave you with some music over the remaining time lapse of this first part of my video. And then once we're done, we're gonna move on to the hotel, which will be a lot of fun. So see you in a bit. Okay, so now we are starting working on the hotel or motel or whatever you should call it. I did talk about it in the part where I was over on Google Maps. I saw this motel, and I wanted to make something similar but a lot less nice. It wasn't a particularly nice motel, but I want to create something really shabby. I want to create something that really shows off a different part of Las Vegas, because I'm not really that known in Las Vegas. I've never been there, but I can assume that the city of Las Vegas also has these sort of issues where they have sort of like a split personality, really. They have some really nice parts of the city, and then they have some not so nice parts. That's not just how it is in the US, that's how it is in every country, really. From the poorest to the wealthiest countries, they all have this. They all have a quite visible barrier between nicer establishments and something like this. Something that's clearly just falling down to the ground. I used mainly two different kinds of assets here. These are well, they were already in the collection by 2020. Can't really remember where we used them, but I know the house that's just one story. I remember seeing them when he was working on there was a city in the desert somewhere, not this city, but many episodes ago. Not Chinchilla, but this other city. Yeah, I can't remember it, but he was creating a motel there as well, and yeah, I got that's where I got the inspiration from. And I'm pretty sure he used this building that's only one story tall, and he used also a tactic or a technique. It's a technique, that's what I meant. He used a technique that was quite interesting and quite clever, that I'm gonna do, not right now, but after a while. And that is by using I think it's either a vending machine or it's some sort of machine that came in the in a certain DLC, if I can remember it. It's Park Life. Yeah, the Park Life DLC, and I think it was some of the assets meant for the amusement park, some sort of like claw machine of some sort, and using Move It and just turning it around so you are facing the back part of the machine, and then you just sort of slide it into the building and it sort of looks like a door. And that's sort of like the tactic I used, and that's the tactic that he used as well on that episode, probably like a year ago. I don't know why I remember it, but yeah, maybe it just stuck with me. Now, the hotel in Las Vegas that I used for inspiration here had 2 stories, and it had sort of this walkway on the outside of the building to function as a way in for the guests that had rooms in the second story. And I went ahead and I looked through his collection to see what I could use, and I found this I think it is it's a train platform actually. And yeah, I don't know why I used it, but I think it was because I could quite easily lower it and increase the height. So I used that to function as the walkway. And here you can see me doing the trick that I was just talking about, to create the doors. And you can also use Move It to change the color of the doors, because if you just place them down, I think they generate like a random color. And yeah, it actually it works wonders, really. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with how the walkway turned out as well. And I wasn't finished there. I had a lot more to do. I went over with some decals to create the or to make the walkway a little bit more natural, because it was still quite clear looking like it was just a train platform within a building. So placing down some decals, I actually placed the decal on top of some ploppable pavement that I raised and placed at the same height as the platform to sort of give it more of a cohesive look. And I also used a decal that sort of fit the colors that I wanted, because I wanted like somewhat of a similar color to the hotel that was in Las Vegas, the one I was getting inspiration from, like somewhat like brown or beige or something like that. Nothing that stands out, because you know, this is just an ordinary place. It doesn't really stand out at all. And I also used some non-terrain conforming fences. Yeah, that's what I did. Non-terrain conforming fences to place on top of the walkway, so that people didn't fall off when they came home drunk out of their mind, which I probably guess a lot of the people that live here, I think they like to do that. So I went over with more of these. I think they're called coin game in the game, as you can see in the move it menu. Went over, placed them everywhere where it looked sort of natural. And as you also can see, I changed the color. I don't know if I changed the color at the end one more time, but I think I changed it one more time to sort of fit the theme a little bit better. The sort of brownish dull theme. There isn't a Greenbeak episode before I use parking lot roads. Yeah, I love these. I love these assets. They're great. I've been using them constantly, really, for every single project, and I had to use them in this one as well. What I do like about it is because it works. They are functional whenever or if there is traffic here. They will drive up to these parking lots and actually park there, so they will be used, which will also make it look sort of organically, if you know what I mean. It won't look fake. It won't look that I manually placed down these cars, because the game uses them. It's being used. And I also like that it comes in two different versions. One is a nicer one that's more black, and then there's this one that's more run down, which is perfect. Once again, using some ploppable pavement to create some pathways going between these buildings here, and also on the outskirts of every single building, so that people can simply get to their room. And of course, finishing up with using more decals to sort of an excessive amount to make this look really run down, really in bad condition. And talking about in poor condition, I also added a basketball court at the back here to sort of get something else in, really. I had a small area down at the edge here that I didn't really know what to do with, so I placed down this basketball court. I also placed down some of the hoops that was also a part of the collection, and also used a certain type of fence to sort of fence in this area. And now maybe for the most exciting thing, the pool, or what's left of it, really. Now I don't know about you, but I've been, as anyone, I have played GTA 5, and for some weird reason when I was building this, I just started thinking about sandy shores. Now, if you don't know sandy shores, this is where Trevor lives. It's like a really crappy place, trailer park. Yeah, it's not a nice place, and it has this abandoned hotel. You probably remember it as this stunt jump. You can jump across it and you usually land in the pool. If you do that, the stunt jump is failed, etc, etc. And the stunt jump is just filled, no, not the stunt jump, the pool itself, it's just filled with trash in it. There's no water, of course, it's just trash. And yeah, as I said, for some reason when I was building this crappy motel, I was just started thinking about sandy shores and the hotel there, and decided to just sort of copy it. So I used some, I think I used some Terraform networks, or any kind of network really, to lower down the ground, and then I used some, I think they're called retainer networks, to act as the barrier. And then I just went crazy with garbage. I just placed down all the garbage I can find in there. I think all of these are vanilla as well. So yeah, it just has been a place where people throw trash now these days. And I also went ahead with some more decals around the pool to sort of make it look like, you know, this was a pool at once, but now it's not being used. I still went ahead and placed down some sun chairs, because, you know, there might be a few crackheads that like to take a swim in this thing. I don't really know. I don't want to know really. I don't want to be here. But once the pool was finished, and just doing some final detailing with some bushes and some more vegetation, I went over to work on something else. So now we're starting working on the very last thing, the truck parking lot. You saw me just before here working on some more commercial areas really. The first thing I placed down was the I think it's called the Alien Shed Bar and Motel, I think it's called. I felt it was sort of fitting in this area. I also had a very small truck parking lot in the back of that restaurant, just to, you know, get a feel of what I was heading myself into. And I also worked a little bit on the very last fast food restaurant here. I think we're now up to, is it 3 or 4 fast food restaurants in this little area alone. Kind of crazy, but you know, that's just how it is. Definitely in the area that I was taking inspiration from. So I'm using the same technique here as I have been using, by using the ploppable pavement. This is actually ploppable asphalt. I'm completely wrong. Ploppable asphalt. And this works wonders if you are creating a very small area like me. But if you want to make a big city, then don't do this. I wasn't careful at all with my assets, my prop count or anything. I was just going crazy. I didn't really think too much about it. If this was in my series, I would probably think twice about certain stuff, but yeah, I didn't. I just went all out. Maybe I placed down 1 or 2 props too much, but yeah, in the end, I think it's all worth it. So I had the entrance to this truck parking lot to be sort of on the same entrance or the same exit point as the drive-through place that I built last year, and also went ahead and brought the truck and the trailer that I placed down very first in the time lapse. and I used also some markings just to check how big the parking lots needed to be, how wide they needed to be, and how long, in order to make sense really. And once I was done with that, I just continued to use Move It to copy the markings, and then I just try to make sense of this whole thing. It's kind of difficult when you have such a huge area to play around with. You feel like if you start out wrong, you have to redo the entire parking lot. I did redo a little bit in the beginning here, but from my experience when playing City Skylines, is that once you build something, once you placed it down, just leave it. Just leave it there. It might, in most cases, it looks kind of bad in the beginning, but once you start detailing a little bit, just placing down some trees, maybe some decals, it usually works out. It usually just works out. So I didn't change too much in the way I placed down these parking lots. And once you also place them down, you sort of worked itself out. I did also want to incorporate some parking lots that were not 90 degrees really, that they were 45 degrees. But I did eventually scrap that idea, or somewhat scrap it. I only left this very small area of this parking lot to these 45 degrees parking lots. So once I was done with the markings, then of course was just needed to place down the trucks. Of course, no trucks will park here once the game starts running, since these are just decals. But using the props that I was so grateful that I had to my disposal, I just used Move It to copy them and place them around, not filling up every single spot. Try to leave a few open, but this is right in the heart of Las Cruces, so you would imagine it to be somewhat of a busy area, and it would be a very likely spot for these truckers that are coming from, I don't know, Montana or some other place, that they stop in order to get some rest, because I'm pretty sure there are laws that says that truckers should stop every now and then to get a certain amount of sleep. And then once they're stopping here in Las Cruces, then they can just park up, pay a small fee, and there you go. I also eventually placed down a small building, sort of an administration building. I don't think I incorporated that, or I don't think I caught that on footage, but I placed it down to sort of function as a place where you pay, and a place where you might go to the bathroom, or there might be even a shower in there, who knows. But that's just another little thing, another little backstory that I did add into my build, because I said I enjoy that. I said that I really enjoy doing that. And the very last thing was placing down sort of like the cherry on top, the power lines. The power lines themselves, they don't really go anywhere. They just go in a circle really, or just go like randomly within this lot. But yeah, they add so much. They add so much to it, and yeah, you're gonna definitely see some of the cinematics. You're gonna see that the power lines, they're really the cherry on top, as I just mentioned. But guys, that's pretty much it for this episode, this video in a whole. I hope I win. I hope I win the competition. I hope this gets a spot in Marble Mountain. As I said earlier, I already know the results, so yeah. But I don't know if I'll post this one before $2.20 post the next episode of Marble Mountain. Who knows? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Tell me guys in the comments down below, what is your favorite place in Marble Mountain? I can go first. I think the Copper Falls. I always like that. I also like the part that is it's really like the national park close to Marble Mountain, the mountain itself, sort of upstream from the swamp area. So lots of trees, lots of vegetation, lots of different kind of pathways that you can go hiking, some caves and everything. I just love the area. I think yeah, that might be my favorite place. But tell me down below, what is your favorite place in Montana, and enjoy the cinematics here. I hope you enjoyed. As always, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to watch more City Skyline stuff. Check out my series called Nordic. It's a realistic Scandinavian series based off places I've been to and places I lived, so check it out if you want to. But that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.